Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769 on Corsica, a small island in the Mediterranean Sea. Even as a young boy, he was really good at planning military moves. During the French Revolution, he climbed the ranks quickly, becoming a very important leader. His wins in Italy made him famous as a brilliant military leader. Napoleon was very ambitious. By 1799, he took control of France and became first consul. But Napoleon wanted more than just Europe. He dreamed of big empires like Alexander the Great. He became interested in Egypt, a land with a long history and a very important location. Taking over Egypt would hurt Britain, France's enemy, and open a path to the east. The east seemed exciting to Napoleon, promising riches and fame. France and Britain were at war, and Egypt was on the way to India, a very important part of the British Empire. Napoleon thought that if he took over Egypt, he could mess up British trade and threaten their colonies. Egypt, once a great center of learning and culture, was now part of the weakening Ottoman Empire. Napoleon saw himself as a hero, freeing Egypt from the Ottomans and bringing French ways of life. He put together a big army with not just soldiers, but also scientists, scholars, and artists. He had a big plan to study Egypt's ancient monuments, figure out hieroglyphs, and write down its rich history. This trip was about science and culture as much as it was about war. Napoleon's reasons for invading Egypt were complicated. France and Great Britain were fighting to be the most powerful country in the world. Napoleon knew that Egypt, located between Europe, Asia, and Africa, was very important. The British Navy controlled the Mediterranean Sea, which was a problem for France. By taking Egypt, Napoleon wanted to challenge British power at sea. Egypt was a key stop on the trade route between Britain and India. Napoleon figured that taking Egypt would hurt this trade, making Britain weaker and France stronger in the east. Besides strategy, Napoleon wanted to be great and famous. He imagined himself as a modern Alexander the Great, conquering new lands and becoming a legend. Egypt, with its ancient history, was very attractive to him. The invasion of Egypt wasn't just about fighting, it was also a chance for France to show off its culture and science. Napoleon brought famous scholars, scientists, and artists with him. Their job was to study Egypt's ancient monuments, figure out hieroglyphs, and learn about its rich history and culture. And in July 1798, Napoleon's ships arrived near Alexandria, Egypt. The invasion started with taking Alexandria, an important port city. Napoleon's army then marched inland, following the Nile River. The French soldiers were amazed by the ancient ruins and huge pyramids. Napoleon's army, though smaller than the enemy's, was well trained and had good leaders. They fought the Mamluks, the military rulers of Egypt. The Battle of the Pyramids, fought on July 21st, 1798, was a big win for the French. The Mamluks fought bravely, but they couldn't beat the French cannons and organized soldiers. After winning at the Pyramids, Napoleon marched into Cairo, the capital of Egypt, like a hero. He tried to look like a liberator, promising to free Egyptians from the Ottomans and make new, modern rules. But many Egyptians resisted Napoleon's control. Even though he won battles on land, Napoleon's navy lost a big fight at the Battle of the Nile. The British Navy, led by Admiral Horatio Nelson, destroyed the French ships near Aboukir Bay. This British victory gave them control of the Mediterranean Sea and stopped Napoleon's army from getting more soldiers and supplies from France. Napoleon's fighting in Egypt had good times and bad times, but it was the cultural and scientific discoveries that really mattered. Napoleon brought more than 160 scholars, scientists, and artists with him, and they spread out across Egypt to study its ancient wonders. One of the biggest finds was the Rosetta Stone, found by French soldiers in 1799. This stone, with writing on it in 3 different languages, hieroglyphs, Demotic script, and ancient Greek, helped people finally understand hieroglyphs, the writing of ancient Egypt. French scholars and artists carefully drew and wrote about Egyptian temples, tombs, and monuments. They made a huge collection of drawings, maps, and notes. This work started the study of Egyptology, making people interested in ancient Egypt again, which continues today. The expedition's scientists also studied Egypt's plants and animals, its rocks and land, and the Nile River. Their research helped us understand the natural world better. Napoleon's campaign in Egypt, even though it failed militarily, is remembered for its amazing cultural and scientific discoveries. What they learned in Egypt still helps us understand ancient Egypt and its lasting impact.